Let's go.
Oh.
Wait, can we do that again?
Oh, look at that. Now we're
We're
bonding.
in sync.
Hey, I'm Vashawn Jordan Jr., staff photographer for JB and Juliana's campaign. Welcome to the B-Sides, where I'm taking you on a behind-the-scenes look at what I've captured on the campaign trail, plus a few throwbacks, and talking with JB and Juliana about what was going on in the photos you see day in and day out. All right, shall we get started?
Hey, Vashawn, yeah.
This photo is one of the early shots on the campaign trail, and this is right before you went inside to file your candidate petitions at the Illinois State Board of Elections in Springfield.
Well, I remember we collected petitions all across the state of Illinois, 102 counties. Wow. It's a big deal to get a stack that big and get them from all the counties.
Yeah, seems pretty heavy too.
That's what I was thinking. I was, first of all, thinking how heavy those petitions were, but I also was just excited that we were able to collect signatures from all over the state, and it's reflected in that stack.
One of my personal favorite photos of Lieutenant Governor from the 51st Chicago Pride Parade. I believe here you were dancing to Beyonce.
Fellow Virgo, let's just say that, yeah. When I look at this photo, I see the kind of exuberance and joy that you feel when you can be your true and authentic self. That's what the Pride Parade is about. That's why we work so hard to make sure that everyone feels welcome and safe in Illinois to be themselves.
This is from Chicago Pride in 1993.
It's like Throwback Thursday here. I remember that day. And a lot of people don't know that, back then, and we're talking 30 plus years ago, this was a protest march. It wasn't so much a celebration the way it is today. The Illinois Federation for Human Rights was a predecessor to Equality Illinois, which is today, the premier organization in Illinois fighting for LGBTQ rights. I was very honored to be a fighter, a protester on behalf of the LGBTQ community even back then.
This is a photo of the Lieutenant Governor with your mother, Mrs. Velma Wiggins.
That's my beautiful mother, Velma, and I think that photo kind of resurfaced more because we did a statewide tour around talking to families dealing with living with dementia or Alzheimer's. I lost my mom to Alzheimer's in 2016. And first of all, I see her beautiful smile, and I know she's with me as I traveled the state to make sure that we became, as JB signed into law, the first state in the nation to require dementia screening and training, really, from healthcare professionals all across the state.
Juliana's been a real champion for Alzheimer's. I just want to be clear, the families who are, working with an elder who has Alzheimer's need a champion. And all along the way, legislators knew that when we put that bill up for a vote, that Juliana was asking them to make sure to support these seniors, and she did.
This image was taken at the Gately Park Indoor Track for your youth budget investment announcement and celebration.
I remember it fondly. This was an announcement of the fact that we had achieved finally $1.3 billion of an increase in education over 4 years. We'd increased funding for early childhood education, which is something very important, near and dear to my heart, and that we were supporting teachers across the state, hoping to hire more and more teachers and really make a better life for the families who live and work in neighborhoods with schools that ought to be great.
This is a photo of the Lieutenant Governor holding up a Trust Women sign, and this was taken at the Chicago March to Defend Abortion Access and Reproductive Rights at Daley Plaza.
So I remember that day and how important it was to, first of all, give the message that's on that sign, that here in Illinois we trust women. And I think as we are seeing all across the nation, the trigger laws and all the ways that what the Supreme Court has done to strip women of their reproductive freedom, I think this is just an example of how we have always stood with women to say that they deserve bodily autonomy and the ability to decide for themselves if and when they want to start a family.
What's on your?
Was Rosa Parks back in 1955 saying, nah, when they were talking, moved it.
Yeah.
Her resistance in that moment of being told to move to the back of the bus and saying, that's not happening, is the same way I feel when we think about them trying to tell us that we're going backwards with our reproductive freedoms. Nah.
That's excellent. I love that.
This was another stop on our Working Families bus tour, and we stopped by the Hope Women's Clinic in Granite City.
Yeah, I'm moved just looking at the photo because this young lady came up to me and she was crying. And she hugged me and she said, "Thank you for making sure that I have my reproductive freedom protected in Illinois. I live in Missouri and I had to come across the border in order to exercise my rights." And I just remember how meaningful that was, especially in that moment. My mother was a reproductive freedom advocate back in the 70s when it was new to people that Roe v. Wade had just been determined, but people were trying to reverse it even back then. And so this has been, my whole life fighting for this woman's right.
I love this photo so much because, I always talk about your compassion in leadership. I mean, it's strong leadership, but it's also concern for the people that we represent. And in that photo, Protect Choice, our governor, the leader of our state, and then that message, Illinois, where you can get a safe, legal abortion. And it's just powerful.